Well, good evening, everyone. This is Julie White with LifeVantage, and I'm just thrilled tonight, honestly. It's just my honor and privilege to be able to introduce a very dear friend and just an amazing person, and he is in our LifeVantage upline. His name is Mark Harris. He's from Kansas City, and he has a beautiful wife, Krista, and three lovely children whom he loves. He's a great father and a great husband, and he's just an example to us in so many ways. He's got great integrity. He's been involved in Youth with a Mission for a number of years, so he loves to make a difference in this world. And he is a top leader in our company, LifeVantage. He's a Pro 8, and he has agreed to share just the message of LifeVantage, our opportunity, business, products. And so if you're a guest on here, welcome, welcome. I know we have some guests, and I'm just thrilled that you can be on here to learn about this. So Mark, with that, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you for your kind introduction, Julie. It always takes me aback just a little bit when people are saying such nice things about me. So like, are they talking about me? But you are so kind. And we have been privileged to get to know Jerry and Julie White over the last, 6, 7 years now through our experience with LifeVantage. We actually knew their son, Josh, back during a discipleship training school that he did here in Kansas City. We met him back then. And that was the initial connection with us and Julie and my mother-in-law, Jackie Shepard, who was actually leading that course here in Kansas City. So it's funny how things circle back, and the connections that you make, you never know where they're going to end up. Julie, do we need to start recording this, or have you got it recorded? Are we underway?
Yeah, so we are underway.
Okay, very good. Well, I'll share my screen with you, and that'll keep us moving along. Otherwise, I'll ramble, and we won't get done in time this evening. Let me see if I can pull this up. Indeed, I can. And I've got some new slides I'm happy to share with you tonight. They're not all new, but they've been updated a good little bit. Let me see if I can get this little guy out of the way here. All righty, and I'll make that small. All right, so 8 years ago, my wife and I, as Julie mentioned, we had been serving in Youth with a Mission for most of our married lives. We'd come back to the States to have our third child. We were pregnant, and to raise more support. As most of you know, about 8 years ago, the U.S. economy was in dire straits. We had just gone through a very difficult, or we're entering into a difficult season when the real estate market collapsed primarily, and that led to a cascade of other industries that felt the shockwaves of the real estate bubble. And we felt that directly. Both of my parents were realtors, and we were praying desperate prayers, and we came across some information that changed our lives. I could not have predicted how profoundly what you're about to see changed our lives. And I hope tonight, the fact that you've taken the time out of your busy schedule to look at this, that you'll execute on this information, that this will be something that you can act upon to benefit as much as my wife and I have. We've watched as literally tens of thousands of people, lives have been transformed physically, emotionally, mentally, for sure, financially. And so thank you so much for jumping on. We'll preface tonight's presentation with the title, Biohack Your Body and Take Back Your Life. And that's exactly what we're going to try to do tonight. Well, as I start, let me ask you this. Tonight is not about me. It is actually about you. If you're a guest looking at this information for the first or a subsequent time, let me ask you something. How's it going? How have the last 5 years been for you? Have they turned out the way that you thought they would? Or have they been a challenge? For most of us, the last 5 years have been a challenge. For some of us, the last 5 years have been dramatically improved over the 5 years before that. And lacking some sort of catalytic event in your life, do you project or could you foresee that things improving for you, or will they likely remain along the same trajectory they are now? Let me ask you, are you happy? If I could show you something that would make you healthier, would you be interested? If I could create a way, a source of financial freedom or income or residual income that would make money less of a focus, not more of a focus. If we could take some of the anxiety that you spend every day, every week, every month, every year, focused on the lack of resources, and we could eliminate that or mitigate that, would that interest you? Most people would say yes. How secure are you? How are your friendships? Are you surrounded with people who believe in you more than you believe in yourself? Most people work in a job. Gosh, that's the hardest part, right? The people that you find yourself working for and working around, quite often, they're negative people, and it's not benefiting your personal development in any way. In fact, most of us come home from a salary position or a commission position just beat up, looking for a way to chill, right? What if we could change that for you? How about your peace of mind? Do you feel relatively content about where you are and where your family's going? How about your family relationships? Do they look to you as a pace setter in your family, as someone who is believing for more and achieving more and creating blessing in your family? How about your sense of hope? I tell you, we travel a lot these days, and one of the things that we recognize is the lack of hope. Western culture, I challenge you to walk through any shopping mall. Do you remember those shopping malls? Or airport, and find the people who have a sense of hope. They are rare. Most people are walking around like the night of the living dead. They're dead, right? So we could show you a community, a culture that actually was demonstrating and believed and had a greater sense of hope. Would that interest you? Sure. Most people would say yes. Finally, what kind of legacy are you leaving? Are you leading a life of significance, one that's creating influence and benefit and blessing in the lives of others? If I could show you a vehicle that would accomplish more of that and allow you to reach more people, bless more people, would you be interested? Most people would say yes. I think I can show you what we have our hands on will help you achieve that. What if there's a better way? Most people are going to wake up tomorrow. They're going to work 40 to 50 hours this week. They're going to do that for 40 or 50 years. What if there was a better way to achieve the purposes and goals that you've set for your family? What if there was a better way? Would you want to know about it? The person that invited you to this presentation tonight thought you deserved to hear about it, because we feel like we found a better way. It may not be perfect, but for sure, it's a better way. And it's something that it brings transformation in every area of life. Physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, socially, and we think there's a strong spiritual component as well. So let me phrase the question to you this way. If you knew about something, and you may not even know me, that's okay. If you knew about something that would fundamentally change my life for the better, would you share it with me? Most people are decent people. Most people are kind people. And unless I give you a reason not to share it with me, chances are you would share it with me. That's exactly the purpose of this presentation tonight. So thank you so much for jumping on this. Our story, as Julie mentioned, my wife and I have served in Christian missionaries. This is us on a service project with our current company called LifeVantage. We have been very proud of our association with a for-profit business enterprise, publicly traded company, ticker symbol LFVN. We do a lot of work in Central America. We've dug wells, clean water wells in all places around the world. We've done all kind of charitable projects, and that's continued our missionary work that we've done for years and years and years, and we found a really neat place in LifeVantage to continue that work. That's my family. That's my beautiful wife, Krista, that Julie mentioned, Ariana, Hudson, and Hunter. Those cheeky little smiles there, they are rascals, and their grandmother is watching them tonight. Thank you, Mom Jackie, if you're watching the playback. Mm-hmm. I want to show this video, and then we'll be right back.
Kind of familiar, huh?
Whoops, sorry.
Yeah, he's doing like an intro thing tonight before the call.
What call?
The Julie's call.
Isn't this Julie's call?
Yeah.
So why did you say before Julie's call?
They're not. They're having trouble with their audio.
I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig.
Yeah, they're having a problem there.
Well, it's looking at the video you're supposed to be watching.
Yeah, it's the ABC video.
I figured.
Sorry, guys. So let's back up. I was trying to get everybody muted. Let me back up because I know that was a little distracting. This is a video that was shown to us when we were incredibly desperate 8 years ago. And it was my mother-in-law that shared this with us. And I was unprepared, if I could say it that way. I was working 2 jobs. We have 3 small kids, as you've seen. Krista was in seminary. We were leading a small group for our church, and we weren't making ends meet. And Mom Jackie called me up, and she said, hey, we need to talk. And I didn't know what that meant. I knew it was not good, right? And she invited us over to her house to watch a video that I had just started and you're about to see. And I apologize for the background noise there. I think we got that sorted out. So I'll show you this video. And as you watch it, ask yourself, who needs this information? Do I know anybody that needs this situation? And if this information is true, what does it mean for mankind? Right? What does it mean for me? What does it mean for my family? And what does it mean for mankind? And we'll start that again. Here we go.
The following is an ABC primetime investigative report that aired in 2005. You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction.
Mark, we can't really hear it.
A potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside.
How about now, Julie?
Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took
It's very faint.
very long life. It may not look like them.
Okay. Well, I'll summarize that video, and the person that invited you to the call tonight, to the webinar, can absolutely share that with you. I apologize for the audio difficulties there. ABC News heard about a University of Colorado Denver study that was going on. Purportedly, it was an anti-aging study. Well, that's ridiculous, of course. So ABC News flew out John Quinones, who you just saw there, to do an investigative report on whatever was going on at University of Colorado in Denver. They walked in the door, the camera's rolling. So, well, so we understand you have an anti-aging pill. Well, that's ridiculous. No, we don't have an anti-aging pill, but we do have some research that's pretty groundbreaking. We understand how that could have been misrepresented to you. We have a formula that is clinically proven to reduce the damage caused by free radicals that causes the aging process. That process is called oxidative stress. That dynamic is oxidative stress. And we have an all-natural formula that's showing a 40% reduction in that dynamic in about 30 days. So you're saying that this oxidative stress stuff, that causes disease and aging? Yes. And you can slow that down by 40% in 30 days? Yes. Well, how do you prove that? Well, we're doing blood testing. That's how our clinical study is being validated. John Quinones says, well, I'm here. Could you maybe, I don't know, take my blood? So on national television, John Quinones has his blood tested. In less than 2 weeks, comes back and his oxidative stress levels are reduced by 45%. Then they turn around and go on national television and declare to the world that someone's done it. Someone has actually found a way, biochemically at least, to slow the aging process. And that because this is a food, not a drug, doesn't require FDA approval to be approved as a drug, which introduces us to the term biohacking. There is a parallel trend of research that's happening right now. There's 2 different domains that it's happening in. One is in pharmaceutical products, drugs. These are artificial chemicals and compounds that are obviously toxic by definition. So the FDA, in their domain, they monitor and regulate that industry called the drug industry or pharmaceuticals. Protandim, the product that you've just seen that ABC validated 10 years ago, 2005 actually, that is a different domain. That's food. These are natural compounds that occur naturally in nature. These are 5 herbs that have been around since, oh gosh, the first week of creation. But the unique formulation has been discovered to do something incredibly powerful in the human body. That's launching a new industry called nutrigenomics. What is biohacking and nutrigenomics? It's the ability to take control of a complex system, specifically your own biology, in order to achieve a desired outcome. Now, does that apply to pharmacogenomics? Well, no. Biohacking in a toxic sense or an artificial sense is a little bit Orwellian in my mind. It's something that's tampering or tinkering with something that's not altogether natural. We're not talking about that kind of biohacking. We're talking about allowing your body to respond the way it was designed to respond just through food, right? Giving it the things that it longs for, the things that it was designed to function optimally with. That's the kind of biohacking we're talking about. And we're working with a company who's developing that technology in first-to-market products. That particular industry, nutrigenomics, is predicted to be a $600 billion with a B dollar industry in the next 10 years. That is from the source Oliver Wyman analysis in 2014. So think about that. A $600 billion industry that no one knows about yet, that you have a clinically, scientifically validated product that's actually doing that effectively through blood tests. Now, if you're the least bit entrepreneurial, if you have the smallest entrepreneurial bone in your body, you're probably connecting the dots here. Because the last time somebody developed technology like this, people stopped putting quarters in payphones, friends. And I don't carry around a checkbook anymore. I don't carry a camera. I don't read a newspaper. I don't carry a flashlight. Why? Because this device has replaced all those. And if you'd have told me 20 years ago, Mark, someday you're going to spend $700 for a phone, I'd have laughed you out of the room. Probably the same as if you had told me 20 years ago, Mark, someday you're going to serve a multi-million-dollar multinational organization with your phone, I'd have laughed you out of the room, right? But that has come to pass. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about if you could go back in time, if you could catch a time machine and make friends with Steve Jobs in 1979 and ask him what's on his mind and sit down and have a cup of coffee with him, he would tell you about a little project he's working on called Apple. Now, knowing what you know now about Apple Corporation, would that have been something that would have been interesting to you? If you could go back in time, would you? Most people would say yes. The company is called LifeVantage. We've appeared on ABC, NBC. We'd appeared in the Wall Street Journal, on the Today Show, publicly traded on NASDAQ. Forbes magazine ranked us the #5 company by return last year. We've been on PBS. That original ABC primetime aired in 2005. 23 plus universities and research institutions have self-funded the research on our products. We switched from retail to direct sales in 2009, mostly because people didn't know what this stuff was. It sat on the shelves of GNC, Costco Pharmacy, Rite Aid Pharmacy, some Walmart stores, but there it sat. And across the country, it was averaging less than a half a bottle per store per month. And what's funny is, if you think about the effect that the ABC Primetime Investigative Report had on the launch of this company, they weren't ready. You literally had 5 guys wearing white lab coats trying to shove pills into bottles and get them to these retail outlets. Well, that's not a way to launch a business. And had you or I walked into GNC in 2008, we wouldn't have been able to find it because they didn't know where to put it. It's not a vitamin. It's not a mineral. It's not an antioxidant. It is a category-creating product that was, frankly, in an ugly little white bottle, and the price point was $60 a bottle for a month's supply. Who's going to buy that? Well, nobody did. And so they pulled it off the shelves. They slashed the price 20%, and they put it in the hands of people like Julie White and Krista and me. Since that time, the company has grown from 3 million to 11 million to 26 million, jumped to 126 million, and now we're $208 million, give or take. So what's the big deal about this stuff? What is the big deal about oxidative stress? If you look at the spectrum of human health, oxidative stress affects every disease process known to man. It also is the critical component in the formation of inflammation. So if you can bring that down, you ostensibly could affect just about every chronic condition anybody could possibly have. Now, the FDA, because they have these 2 domains, they do not allow us to say that Protandim was intended to treat, or prevent, or mitigate any disease. But it doesn't take very far to connect the dots. If all those diseases are connected with oxidative stress, And we have something that's going to reduce oxidative stress through a little protein transcription factor called NRF2. You can write that down, NRF2. Well, what is that? What are the implications then for disease? And oxidative stress is the key component in the aging process. You think about, if I cut this apple open, there on your slide, what would happen? Well, we know that apple's going to turn brown because of oxidation. That's the same thing that's happening at the cellular level. You're literally rusting from the inside out. What if we could turn back your body's ability to deal with that problem as if you were a very young child? That's what we're talking about. That's why this is such a big deal. The institutions that have studied this are right across the board. The American Heart Association has done two peer-reviewed published studies. Those can be found on pubmed.gov. That's the National Institute of Health's online library, the National Library of Medicine, basically the global repository for all medical research. You can see the names there. Just prolific amount of research that has been done. I won't take the time on this call to validate the science. The science is so prolific. There's such a profound compendium, can I use that word, of the science on this technology. It speaks for itself. So if you want to do the scientific research, by all means, pubmed.gov is where you'll want to go and get those studies. In layman's terms, here's the big deal. Up to this point, there's been a $50 billion industry predicated upon the idea that if I eat enough blueberries or dark chocolate or red wine, I can do something to this problem. I can eliminate these free radicals. While in theory that's true, that only works on a one-to-one basis. So while that might work if you're trying to put out a candle with a Dixie cup, what if your house is on fire? How's that Dixie cup going to work for you? Well, not very well. That's the kind of projection, that's kind of the astronomical numbers of free radicals we're dealing with. Not a candle's worth, we're talking about a forest fire's worth. And if your neighbor is peeking out the window at you and sees you running back and forth to your fire with a Dixie cup, well, they're calling the cops on you, because that's crazy. But that's exactly what a $50 billion antioxidant industry is built upon. Everyone you know and love is lined up, cash in their hands, and a Dixie cup in the other hand. What's going to happen, do you think, to that industry when they find out we have a way to turn the sprinklers on? We didn't even have to come up with the sprinklers. Our bodies are already sovereignly designed with that system to deal with this condition called oxidative stress. That's what we're talking about. NRF2 is the name of that protein that we're trying to activate. Here's the role of protein, the protein NRF2. It's a communication channel. Washington State University just concluded a study 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And in their conclusion, here's what they say about this breakthrough in science and medicine. It is our opinion that raising NRF2 is likely to be the most important health promoting approach into the foreseeable future. It may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. Those are shocking statements. Those are such hyperbolic statements. The FDA won't even let LifeVantage distributors make that. So we point to the Allergy Research Group research and Washington State University. That's a profound study. Multiple Sclerosis Journal published another study that compared Protandim to a drug called BG12. That drug has since been approved to be sold under the brand name Tecfidera. Tecfidera is available for about $55,000 a year if your doctor prescribes it to you, and your insurance will help you pay for it, for the treatment of multiple sclerosis. In their study to validate that drug, Biogen IDEC paid a doctor to publish his findings on that comparison. Here's what Dr. Jay Van Horsen said in his comparison between the drug BG12, which is Tecfidera, and Protandim. Interestingly, Protandim, a dietary supplement consisting of herbal ingredients, was the most potent inducer, and therefore may be the most suited as a therapeutic strategy. That's a drug company saying that. Biogen IDEC is predicted to be a $3 to $5 billion market leader in the treatment of multiple sclerosis through the sale of one drug. Think about that. We have an alternative that does it better, that's all natural, for $40 a month, plus shipping and tax. What do you think people are going to choose if you give them the right information? Of course, Protandim. It is the solution for oxidative stress. It is the only scientifically proven formula to slow cell aging. Again, it does that through NRF2 activation. It is the only supplement proven in a clinical study to reduce oxidative stress in humans by an average of 40% in 30 days. Here's what we see anecdotally. Experientially, we see the need to take Protandim for about a month per decade before you begin to see results. So I'm 53, so I began to see results fairly quickly, but on average, most people would need to see about 4 to 5 months before they saw significant benefits, because you have a lifetime of oxidative stress. What happens after 120 days plus is those oxidative stress levels has been reduced 70, 80, 90% in some cases. So profound. So what I want to encourage you to do, if you start taking our products, don't take them for 2 weeks and quit. You have to make a commitment that you're going to start pushing that avalanche back up the hill, so to speak. And it's going to take a while. It's going to take a little bit to slow that avalanche down before you can begin seeing the effects of that. In a National Institute of Aging funded study, Protandim was the only natural proven product to extend lifespan, 7% in male mammals. What else does that on the planet? That alone will be a game changer for people who get that information, make it decide, yeah, I'd like to have 7% more lifespan and the quality of life that goes along with it, right? NRF2 helps to regulate your body's survival genes. Let's move on to mitochondrial dysfunction. We figured out how to activate this NRF2 protein. What else might we be able to do with all natural food products? Well, we started looking at mitochondria. Mitochondria is responsible for 95% of the energy that your body uses in a given 24-hour period. When mitochondrial dysfunction sets in, not enough or dysfunctional mitochondria, it can affect all sorts of human conditions. Huntington's disease, fibromyalgia, Lou Gehrig's, cardiomyopathy, autism, cancer, muscular dystrophy, diabetes, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, all are correlated or connected to dysfunction in the mitochondria. What would happen is if in applying the same technology, we were able to open another communication channel that affected mitochondria. What would the implications be of that? Here's what we know. We did it. That technology is NRF1 activation. We now have a Protandim NRF1 activator, and it is the solution for mitochondrial dysfunction. It is optimal for cognition, for mental focus, and for immune function. It increases your cellular energy. So if you're an athlete, if you're active, if you think a lot, or you want to think better, it is critical for that neurological and muscular function. It's going to improve your performance across the board through energy production and enhances cellular health, keeps your cells performing at peak function. It improves your sleep quality, the quality of your dreams, which is so very important for your mental health, promotes cellular repair. It boosts the mitochondria production, and it enhances their health of those mitochondria. And it slows cellular aging by supporting chromosome integrity. That's a big deal. Next, we developed a product called ProBio. The world has seen the gradual need, or the growing need, or at least the awareness of a good probiotic because of the toxicity in our environment, not only in our food, but in our water, in the air we breathe, and all the different things that are bombarding our system. Our gut is just, it suffers the consequences on a daily basis. And so even if you're eating healthy, if you're eating those toxic processed foods as well, or you're drinking water that's toxic or has artificial substances in it, your gut is not able to metabolize those good foods when they actually make it to your stomach. Enter our Physique probiotic. It provides 6 billion CFUs of healthy bacteria. It's got 2 patented formulas, BioTract and Wellmune, to support optimal digestion and immune system. And here's one of the things that we're very proud of with our Physique ProBio. It actually makes it to your digestive system. The survival rate for most active probiotics is about 4% of the total, meaning that your stomach is going to digest 96% of that helpful flora before it ever gets to where it's needed in the gut. ProBio averages around 60%. survival through the stomach into to the small intestine where it's needed. And again, leaky gut is going to lead to all kind of health conditions, adrenal fatigue, colon problems, sinus problems, brain problems, skin problems, joint problems. We have found that ProBio, or the application of ProBio, is such an important precursor to all of our other products. A lot of times people actually need to start taking ProBio before they can even metabolize the other products that we have. And then, of course, we've developed what we think is the world's best omega product. It's a blend of fatty acids and vitamin D, supports brain health, cardiovascular health, skin health, and the immune system. It also contains omega-7 to help with weight management, to signal the satiation component or mechanism in your body to say, you're not hungry anymore, stop eating. And it's also traceable from the boat to the bottle, which is so important. Because that fish, it's going to absorb whatever heavy metals, whatever toxins are in the environment around it. You don't want fish caught off the eastern coast of Japan. That's not a good place to get fish oil, because those toxins in those fish from the Fukushima accident, they're going to make their way into your body. And so we can actually trace where our fish oil comes from without the fish burp. Ours has a very, very pleasant taste to it. Kind of lemony, and I challenge you to chew one. It's awesome. It supports brain health and immune function. And those are compiled into something we call the Vitality Stack. Now, these 4 products bundled together are, gosh, I can't even find the right word. Qualify, that's the word, for free shipping. It's $151 US plus tax. We recommend doing that on a monthly basis, on a monthly subscription. That's called the Vitality Stack, and that's kind of the biohacker starter kit. So if you see the need to access our products, that's where I want to recommend that you start, with this Vitality Stack of these 4 essential products. That's not all. We've got a skincare line. Louisiana State University and their research concluded that Protandim, Nerf2, taken internally, reduced the incidence of skin cancer by 37%. Well, my goodness, what does that, right? We can't even make that claim. We have to point to the Louisiana State study on PubMed.gov that showed that benefit and a 53% reduction in the multiplicity of that condition as well. When we saw that study, the company was like, we have to develop a skincare product. The skin is our largest organ. What would happen is if you applied or activated that Nerf2 technology on your skin, what would your skin do? Well, it just begins to age younger. Age slower. So my question to you is, would you like faster aging skin or younger aging skin? Well, the answer, of course, for most people is I would like younger aging skin, please. That is available in a 4-step protocol. Estee Lauder's been she's been killing herself to try to copy what we have. She's done it. Her list of ingredients are about 4 times as long as ours, and it's loaded with lots of artificial stuff. Ours is incredibly natural, and ours is wonderfully about half the price of Estee Lauder's Nerf2 activating protocol. Interestingly, she launched her products in Europe. Seems that somebody has a patent in the US to do that. That'd be us. Axio is brain food. This allows your brain to unlock its full potential and increases your energy, your mental clarity, and your focus. If you can see that slide on the right, this is a compelling image. This was a 9-year-old child before taking NRF2 activation, Protandim, and Axio. You can see his handwriting. He struggled with mental focus and anxiety. After, let me see, I forget the length of time here. Let me move this. After 1 week, get myself out of the way. 1 week on Nerf2 and Axio, you can see his handwriting. Is there any reason you could think of, if you know any child or any adult that struggles with mental focus and anxiety, is there any reason you would not put them on that product looking at that slide? That is just amazing. That's 1 week, friends. Axio is brain food. Compare that to the caffeine-heavy, toxic stuff you get in your convenience store, the Red Bulls, the Monsters, the 5-Hour Energies, the Rockstars. All that stuff is incredibly toxic. However, that's part of a $100 billion annual industry. What if we could do what those products are all trying to do in a better way, without overstimulation, without the jitters, just clean, pure brain food? We have that in Axio. This is our weight management system. This is called Physique. This is actually a distributor in Western Florida. I believe his name is Greg. And it shows these results are not typical, but after 3 months, you see the effect of our weight management process. Protein shake, our fat burn, our cleanse, and our ProBio bundled there in the physique weight management system. For us, we feel like this is a game changer because we're changing the conversation. It's no longer about weight loss. It's about weight management. What happens if you lose the weight and you can keep the weight off? Isn't that better than the porpoise up and down roller coaster diets that everybody does? Yes. And so we feel like we have a game changer here in the physique line as well. Timing is everything. Here's the good news. You're here. Less than 0.003 of the world population. No, that's not right. Of the US population. It would be less than the world population even has heard about this. We have 40,000 global distributors, 40,000 distributors in the US, about 75,000 distributors globally. What does that mean when there's 8 billion people in the world? That means that you are first. You are part of the innovators that are pioneering a brand new technology. Again, let me contextualize that. What would happen if you just happened to know somebody that invited you to this call that happened to know Steve Jobs in 1979, or Bill Gates in 1980, or Warren Buffett, or Elon Musk in 1985? What would happen if you just happened to hear a conversation that someone was introducing a new technology to the world? Would that interest you? Well, some people would say no, but most people that are looking for an opportunity, looking for something that they could hang their hat on or hitch their wagon to as part of an income creating paradigm shift, would say yes. 80% of the value of this company will be realized through the momentum phase. We've not hit that yet, but we're growing close. This is a new wave of social entrepreneurship. When I saw that this had become a network marketing enterprise, it was a novel idea for me because network marketing was not something that Chris and I were chasing. It wasn't something we were looking for. But when we saw the story, or we heard the story, and we saw what was in our hands or what was being offered to us, we thought, perhaps this is an answer to prayer. Surely, I can tell you 8 years down the road, because no one knows about this yet, this is absolutely the most prolific, robust vehicle that we have ever seen, short of the gospel of Jesus Christ, to help change people's lives, to bring levels of transformation on a very simple, basic way. Again, physiological, emotional, mental, and through this, financial. We are first in the arena of biohacking. We are first to market with a proven, clinically, scientifically validated nutrigenomic product that's going to beat the pants off of the pharmagenomic products. This is our compensation plan. So because it's now a personal franchising opportunity, you have a chance, should you choose to execute this information and join us as a business enterprise, there are commissions for sharing this information, just like the person that invited you to this webinar tonight. You could do the same thing and just say, hey, I got something. Love to share it with you if you're open. There are 9 ways to get paid. If you count our My Life Venture Jeep program, we actually give titles to vehicles. We have a Jeep Wrangler that we were blessed with 5 years ago, title and all. It's the most expensive vehicle we've ever owned by a lot. I think the most I'd ever spent on a car was about $2,500 on a Ford F-150 I had when I was roofing for a couple years. I won't go through the whole compensation plan. I will show you a couple different ways we get paid. This is the Smart Start bonus return on the investment. So the initial investment for the Business Builder pack is 3 different levels. One is a Platinum pack. That's $1,250 plus tax, free shipping. There's a 30% savings on that pack. So by far, that's the most rational, reasonable way to start a business. Very low threshold, very low investment cost. When you compare this to any other conventional business that you could make this kind of money, it's ridiculously low. The second level is a Gold pack, $650. There's a third pack called a Silver pack, $350. I reserve that for the high school students or the missionary friends that we have. For somebody that's really looking at creating replacement income or better, we want to recommend that you look at the Gold or Silver pack, the Gold or Platinum pack. It's just a better deal. It's a better way to start your business. There's event passes that include training associated with those packs. It's just a better way. When you share this information with others who decide to join at that level, that platinum pack level, that's a $400 commission on those products when they join in your pocket. Friends, I can tell you that that bought shoes for my kids, that put food on my table, and that put gas in my car. That is an incredible commission to get people up and going, and that's why we call it the Smart Start bonus. These are the royalty commissions on average that can be realized through a theoretical model I want to share with you. So let's say you know 5 people. Let's say you know 50 people. Most people have thousands of people in their phone, but let's say you don't want to talk to some of those people. If you share this information, 5 people decide to do this with you, and you help them find 5 people. That second month, we're trying to help everyone achieve a personal volume, meaning that they're consuming a minimum of $200 in LifeVantage products every month. Or if they're not personally consuming them, they're finding customers that are ordering that much product. That makes us a distributor. For me, as a former graphic designer, that wasn't even the amount of money I was spending on print cartridges every month. I spend more than that on coffee, or I used to. That's such a negligible amount of overhead. If you've ever run any kind of business, it's silly. Most time when you run a business, that's money just in the trash can, or money that you have to dispose of. In LifeVantage, your monthly overhead, you get to consume and transform your body, your personal self. So it's a double benefit. If you find 5 people who do that and help them find 5 people who do that, you can see how the monthly commissions grow exponentially. $250 on your second level, $22.50 for me. As a Home Depot kitchen designer, that was replacement income. That was an amazing day that I walked out of there with my orange apron rolled up under my arm. See ya. The next level is $6,250. 78% of all Americans can retire or replace whatever it is they're doing right now with that level of income. 90% of all Americans could replace their income with $30,000 a month. You see on that 5th level, that's the monthly average income on that 5x5 theoretical model, and you see how the numbers go up in a rapid escalation from there. That's just stupid money. Shame on me if I'm spending that kind of money on myself or my family. That needs to go other places, right? But here is a compelling number for me. Look at that number in the center column, the number of people on our 9th level, which is the maximum level on our commission chart. On my 9th level, there are roughly 2 million people. Just sharing this with 5 people, helping them find 5 people, etc. We've been in this 8 years. We've enrolled, I don't know, probably 50 distributors at this point, hundreds of customers. Lots of people have joined us. Not as many as have joined other teams or other distributors, certainly. But can you find 5 in the next 10 years? Could you find 5 people? Could you find 5 people tomorrow? Probably, right? You're just sharing it with enough people. Here's my question for you. If I had a vehicle that would allow you to help change the lives of 2 million people if you did this right, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, socially, saving marriages, would you be interested? Friends, they will name a street after you if you help change the lives of 2 million people. That's the population of where we live here in Kansas City. That is a boatload of people. I challenge you to find another vehicle that can do that, that offers the power of transformation on that order of magnitude. It just doesn't exist, friends. That to me is why we get out of bed. That's why we do this. These are the distributor income summary monthly averages. You can see the real numbers of what we're actually paying out. At Pro 1, you're usually paying for enough product for yourself. At Pro 2, you're spending well over your minimum overhead and enough to put in the gas tank. Pro 3, the average is about $580 a month. Do you know anybody that would benefit from an extra $580 a month in income? Most people would say yes. That's what our Pro 3s make, generally within the first 2 years. We hit Pro 3 in 90 days. We know lots of other people who have done that in less than 6 months. So think about this. If we added something to your toolbox that wasn't replacing anything that you're doing right now, wasn't really interfering with anything that you're doing right now, and could create an additional $580 a month for you, would you be interested? Most people would say yes. At Premier Pro 5, that's replacement income for a ton of people. That's $2,250 a month. Pro 6, $5,000 a month. Do you need a little bit more? It takes the average six-figure American worker, listen to this, if you're stuck in a conventional job working 40 hours a week for 40 years, here's what we know. It takes the average six-figure American worker 43.8 years to equal the monthly residual income of the average Pro 7 in LifeVantage. We did that in 2 years. So which would be better? Let's say it took you 10 years to hit Pro 7. Would you rather work for people who can't remember your name that you have to ask permission to go to the bathroom from, switching shifts and showing up early and taking abuse verbally and mentally, working in a broken system that wasn't creating any leveraged income for you, or, and frankly, was going to limit the amount of influence and blessing you could give to other people? Or would you rather come join us and help us spread the message of how transformational this opportunity and these products are? I don't know. To me, that just makes sense. It's not perfect. Some people, you may look at this and go, I don't know, sounds fishy. It's okay. Not everybody will do this, but some will. And that makes it worthwhile. You can see how our Elite Pro 9s and Master Pro 10s are clicking up towards that six-figure a month figure. My goodness, could you squeak by on that? So I want to invite you not to miss this. There's lots of other information. I don't want to take up too much time tonight. Thank you, Julie, for inviting me to share a little bit of our story, what we have our hands on. Get with the person that invited you. If you're interested, just let them know if you're more interested in the products or the business or both. We'd love to have you. On a scale from 1 to 10, just tell them, what was your level of interest? You know, I was probably a 10 on the products, but I don't think I understand, you know, how the business works. Could maybe a 7 on the business. Could you explain that a little more? Otherwise, if you don't let them know where you are, it's just weird, right? And they don't know how you took it. And we'd love to hear, if you're excited about what you've seen tonight, tell us. Tell the person that invited you. Hypothetically, let me ask you this. What level of income on that chart that I just showed you would you need to achieve to make doing this worth your while? Would you need an extra $500 a month to share this information with other people? What if we could create replacement income for you? Would that make doing this or sharing this information worth your while? 15 times a month? How many hours a week would you be willing to invest to make that goal a reality? Could you give a couple hours a day? My excuse 8 years ago was that I didn't have any time. I didn't have any time and I didn't have any money. Let me tell you something, friends. The reason you do this, the reason you share this information with people, become a LifeVantage distributor, is so you'll have time and money. Those are the two reasons you do it. Of course you don't have any time or money. I would challenge you on the time factor and just analyze your life. Take stock. How many hours a day are you wasting on low yield activity, things that are not changing anyone's life? If you could take that little bit of time, if you could do one thing a day and change one thing a day and just invest that little amount of time in growing something like this or sharing something like this to create legacy income, would you do it? Most people would say yes. Over what period of time? How long would you do something like that? Would you do it for 2 years? Knowing that it takes the average American 43.8 years to do to reach the level of income that the average Pro 7 makes? Let me ask you this. Is there anything else that you would need to see before you get started? If there is, please ask the person that invited you. Say, you know what, I don't quite understand the compensation plan. Again, there's 9 ways we get paid. There's no way to go in depth on how all the nuances of our compensation plan. I didn't talk to you about the leadership of this great company, their level of integrity. You need to hear that as well. You need to come to our events. You need to come to Anaheim, California in July and see that firsthand, in person, to really understand how remarkable what we've got our hands on. So get back with the person that invited you to see this. I'd love to meet you in person in Anaheim. It's a privilege to get to do this and share this with so many quality, amazing people. So with that, Julie, I'll stop my screen share and I will kick it back to you, sister.
Thank you, Mark. That was fantastic. Just loved all that great information. And I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And I'm excited to just hear what you liked best about what you heard tonight. So make sure you get in touch with the person who invited you on this tonight. So thanks everyone for joining us. Have a great rest of the week. Thank you so much.
Love
Mark.
y'all.
We appreciate you taking time out tonight.
You bet. Thank you, Julie. Love y'all.
Love you.
Good night, Mark.
Thank you.